we're almost there. So one more question. Obviously, big changes before the event even started. Firouzja out, Hans out.
Oh my gosh.
Take it wherever you want with them.
First of all,
How live is an effect?
how wild is that? I mean, seriously, like, this is absolutely crazy. I know everyone looks at me like, and I've been asked this by so many of you, like I have some sort of inside information and track. I really don't here. I think that there's every time you play out the chess board of justifying Hans's moves, other than like, if there's a real tragedy going on, you hope the best for him and his family and everything. Like, obviously, we want safety and health wherever possible. So assuming that's okay, it doesn't make any sense for him to do what he did, especially as a guy whose half of Hans's public brand has become conspiratorially accusing organizers and events of blackballing him. And so now you have an invite and an opportunity to compete for hundreds of thousands of dollars against Magnus Carlsen. We know he's not afraid of like being in that environment with anti-cheat detection or anything. Like, we already held Hans, by the way, in Paris at the Speed Chess Championship. Like, I think that there's no world to justify his actions, and for him to not realize that the consequences are massively serious. Because if you want to look in the mirror, if you're Hans and you want to look in the mirror while you claim conspiratorial stuff, you have a track record, and things I won't say in confidence, of not leaving the organizers with the best of taste in their mouth because of your actions. That is your responsibility. And now you burned your bridges with an organizer 24 hours out of an event that he, frankly, bent over backward to think of a way to get Hans Niemann in by basically adding the Grinky thing to the event in order for Hans to get an invite, because Hans is a fascinating character. So there's like no world. And you add that to the fact that he was talking trash with Kramnik on Twitter like 4 days before the event started, like taking selfies of like their training.
He wanted to play.
Yeah.
Whatever the reason is, he just couldn't play. So I don't know what the reason is, but I just think it might be something personal, right?
So that's why I go back to, so with that rant there, because, you have to call that out because that's what people are wondering. With that rant, I have to come back to fully assuming something must be really going on that is super tough. And so wish him the best and his family, because I think other than something truly tragic, there's absolutely no world to explain this. And unfortunately, because of how he communicated it, like, I think he still will have repair to do with Jan Henrik and the organizers, because it just didn't. Because even if it is a real tragedy, you'd think you would have made a little bit more of an effort to, to kind of get that across, because obviously he left a bad taste in Jan Henrik's mouth based on what he said, about how it went down. So what do you think?
I mean, I really do think that he wanted to play very much. I had no idea what the reason could be. And I'm not going to speculate, but whatever the reason is, he probably just couldn't play. Well, there was just something too important that he had to do that he couldn't.
Yeah, but do you see my point about you communicate it?
Of course, I would.
And that is the only that information I have from Jan Henrik, is like, he literally was like, I'm texting with the guy. Like, we have a good relationship. Like, it's disrespectful to him to be like, what happened to like a back and forth? Anything, versus like an email, that best to give a reason. What? It's best to give a reason, for sure. That's my point. If you really want to save face with an organizer and expect to be invited again, it's best to give a reason or to handle it potentially. But he's also very young. I mean, Hans is young. Maybe he looks back in hindsight and goes, okay, yeah, it was a real tragedy. And clearly you're right. I should have communicated better, but I wasn't thinking clearly, because maybe he's super sad, right? So I think we could give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't.
The contractual problems with the organizers a lot.
I don't want to speak to that. Yeah, go ahead.
I know the reason, but I'm not going to say it.
Exactly, and that's exact. I was just going to say the same thing. I feel like I have too much inside information on this one to pretend to speculate with intellectual honesty, and I'm not. Everything I say is honest, and so I'm not going to pretend to speculate here when I actually do know the answers, and I know that it wasn't, a great back and forth contractually, and so I'd rather just not share on that. I mean, everyone wants to see Firouzja, and you hope that he can work out terms in the future, but I don't want to speculate because I know the answer, and but I do wish Fujia was here.
We'll wait for more to come out. Danny, you in summer? Hopefully we'll.
So we can preview that we're going to have a proper C-Squared podcast where you guys get to grill me, and Bobby gets all of his cheating dreams out. get to grill me and all the things that we want to talk about. It's going to happen.
The official preview of the C-Score podcast episode with Daniel Rensch.
See you guys. Cheers.